Hello, and welcome to Create with Brenda. I'm Brenda Hillard. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in north central Minnesota. And today I want to bring you a fun project using one of the bundles that are part of the Savings Are in Bloom promotion. So if you haven't heard, Savings Are in Bloom, 20% off the awesome little Stampin' Cut and Emboss Mini. It's regularly $60, now on sale for $48. And that's not all. Check it out. 13 bundles are also 20% off. Today is March 16th, which means we are halfway through this promotion. It is only good until through March 31st. So don't delay. When placing your order, if it's under $150, please use my host code up here. You will receive my monthly host code gift if your product purchase is over $50. And this month I am giving you a pack of the basic pearls as a thank you just for shopping with me. And then, of course, you always receive a beautiful thank you card, or a beautiful card. It may not be thank you, but a beautiful card from me each month that you purchase with me. All right. So I've already shown you a card with using the art gallery bundle. So today I'm going to be using the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. That is number 154065, and I'll put that down below in the description. And it's normally $57, on sale for $45.50. So let's get started. The products I'm going to use today for this project, I'm going to be using, of course, the beautiful bundle. It's the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. This is a cling stamp set, which means it is the red rubber. And check out the beautiful sentiments in there. This is from our annual catalog. And then it coordinates with the sunflower dies. So I'm going to be using this die, this one, and then these two, and this little center for the sunflower. Okay. All right. The ink that I'm going to be using is I'm going to stamp. It's a tone on tone. So I'll be using, I'm going to use the big sunflower, and I'm going to be using the bumblebee ink. And then the one thing I forgot is the Thanks a Bunch. We're going to be using that stamp as well. And we are going to use another ink color, the Early Espresso. And what else did I have? Oh, yeah. So we're going to be using some of the gingham ribbon. This is really fun, the black and white. And then I have a special little surprise at the end, but we're also going to need the dark daffodil. Stampin' Blend alcohol marker for our surprise at the end, okay? So when I die cut, I like to use these no-slip shelf liners. I just set them right underneath, and they just help to hold it in place. They work pretty well. And here's what we're going to need for our pieces. You're going to want a piece of, and I chose Bumblebee, cardstock that measures 3.5 by 9 inches. We're going to score this at 2 inches and 5.5 inches. You're going to need a scrap piece of designer series paper. I've chosen kind of a monochromatic theme here. And this comes from the designer series paper, the 2020-2022 in color, the 6x6 pack. And you guys, Bumblebee is one of the colors that will be retiring. So I saw that some of the things from the retiring in colors are already on low inventory. So stock up on your cardstock, stock up on your re-inkers. Get ready because it's going away. What else do we need? We need a little scrap piece of old olive, a scrap piece of granny apple green, a scrap of bumblebee, and a scrap of basic white. And then we're going to need, I have a piece of basic black that measures 2 inches by 4.5, and another piece of basic white that measures 1 7/8 by 4 3/8. Okay, so let's take our scrap pieces and we're going to do our die cutting first. However, I am going to stamp. Boy, I'm filling up my little workspace here pretty quickly. I'll just scoot these forward. There we go. All right. So Bumblebee ink on Bumblebee paper, tone on tone. Whenever my stamps are bigger like that, I like bringing the ink pad to the stamp instead of trying to move it around and getting lines. All right, I am going then to just stamp this. And that just gives us the shading on our leaves, okay? So to line up our die, this can be a trick sometimes with this one, but is what I look for is these 3 leaves that kind of jet out and up. That helps me line this up. Okay, so let's put our cutting plates on our mini. So I've got cutting plate 1. When you're using your cutting plates, you stagger them. They feed into the mini much nicer. Your paper has to be just a little, the biggest piece of paper that'll fit in the mini is about 3.5 inches. So my scraps, when I pulled my scraps for this project, I made sure that they were under 3.5 so that they fit through the opening here. All right, cutting plate number 2 on the top. And now I'm going to roll it through. All right, so now we have this piece. And I'm going to take this intricate die, if I can pick it up. Watch this. This is another good reason to have a magnetic bowl. There you go. Picked it right up. All right. So with the scrap piece of white, basic white, I'm going to put that on our cutting plate here again. Remember, stagger your plate. And the only reason I switched is you can see this one's well used. That's my down plate, or what I call my down plate. And then this is my top plate. All right, we'll roll that through. I'm not able to, normally I'm standing when I run these through, and all right, so there's that. I'm going to set that here. And then we're just going to die cut a couple of the leaves. And I can just lay those side by side. And let's get our leaf dies here. So I'm going to do my solid out of the old olive. And I'll do my intricate die out of the granny apple green. Roll these through. lost my gripper. All right, here we go. All right, so there's one. And we're going to want one more. I'm just going to take my pokey tool here from my Take Your Pick and push right in one of those little holes. And that'll just help me be able to pull out that intricate die. Let's do that one more time. All right, so our solid leaf, our granny apple green, and our top cutting plate. My die slid a little bit and I didn't want that to happen. All right, here we go. My placemat is sliding, which isn't helpful at all. All right, here we go. This one little die just keeps sliding forward. I probably should have used a Post-it note on there, but you know, hindsight is always 20/20, right? Here we go. All right. We'll move our die cutting machine off to the side because we're done with that. We want our die and solid piece here. Okay. Give ourselves some room to work. I think I thought about cutting out that centerpiece for the sunflower, but we can decide once we assemble how that's all going to look, okay? All right, so we've got our flower. Oops, threw one of my leaves away. I did. There it is. And then let's get our little piece out of here that we need. Normally I die cut most of my stuff before filming, but I really wanted you to see that little mini die cutting machine in action. It's pretty cool. I'm working on getting my sunflower outline die out of the die. You can bring it in. It's just that we're gonna have lots of little pieces from this. And this die really does cut out quite beautifully. The only place that I've found in using this that you have to really poke out the pieces is from the very center, and I'll show you that here. Okay, so this is what the sunflower looks like. Isn't it pretty? Get all those little pieces away. So it's what I was talking about is the poking part are all of these. If you want those out, that's one thing. If you don't want them, just let it be. I kind of like the look. So all I do is take my Take Your Pick tool and just kind of go around and poke at a few of those. And I don't even care if I get all of them, but they do add a little bit of interest to your piece. So let's go ahead and leave it just like that. Okay. So is what we're going to do now is this is going to fit on top. And again, I look for those 3 petals that are kind of rounded up, and then it allows me to center that perfectly on my die cut piece. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue to the center because I don't care if the edges are um, adhered down or not. I kind of like the loose look. So I'm just centering or adhering in the center. So our sunflower is going to look like that. And I like it when this lifts up a little. I guess that's what I was trying to say earlier. All right, same thing. We're going to add some liquid adhesive to, and again, I'm just putting it right in the center vein of that leaf. And then I'm going to put the granny apple green piece on top of the old olive, just like that. And we'll do the same thing here. Just a real light amount of glue. And put that, I got a little more glue on that one than I wanted, but that's okay. It'll be kind of behind and under the sunflower, so that'll work. Then I had this little scrap down here left, and that's where I am going to stamp my sentiment. So I want to put one of my rectangular acrylic blocks, and I'm going to mount this thanks a bunch. And you guys, you can put your thanks a bunch on the grid paper on the line, and then mark your block on one of the lines so you're on straight. And then I'm going to ink it up using the Early Espresso ink, and I'm just going to stamp my sentiment right there. Isn't it cute? I love that little swirl off the bunch. All right. So I feel like with all the die cutting, this took a long time, but that's all right. I'm just going to cut this out, and I'm leaving the bottom, as you can see, very straight or fairly straight. But then I'm going to fussy cut around, moving my paper, and I'm just going right around the lettering here. I'm going to cut off the excess. Whoop, that went flying. And there. That's what I want for on our project here. I know, you're like, what are we making, right? You're right. I haven't shown you. It's just too cute. Wait till you see it. All right, I'm going to bring in the trimmer. So here's our trimmer. And again, like I said, I cut this at 3.5 by 9 inches. And I'm going to score it at 2 inches and 5.5. Some of you may already know what I'm making, but so I'm going to fold this up. And then before I fold this, I want to do a little die cutting on there too. So I'm going to be using from the scalloped contour dies. You have this fun little scalloped edge. Right. So more time. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that one like that. I do need the bigger one. So give me just a second. Just over here at my die cutting station. I want to put that little scalloped Got two. I like that. That through. And show you what I've got. So all I did was lay this across the edge like this and die cut so that I have this fun little scalloped border. And that die is a little bit too wide for our mini, so that's the way that goes. All right, so I'm just going to center this down, match up my edges. Perfect. And then I'm going to crease this with my bone folder. All right, so are you seeing what's happening here? Now you probably know what we've got going. All right, so I'm going to lift up the edge. I'm going to bring my cutting blade down. I'm going to put our 2-inch score line here on the cutting trough. And I'm going to put this bottom corner at the 1/2 inch mark. So is what I'm going to do is go cut like that. And then I'm going to do that same thing. Only this now goes on the 1/2 inch line and our 2-inch score line on the cutting trough. And then cut. Oops, didn't do that quite as well as I had hoped, but I can fix it. My 2-inch score line just wasn't quite exactly where I wanted it. So do you see what's happening? Oh, we're getting a little flower pot. I know, I can't stop stamping flowers. I think I have the spring bug. All right, now I know some people when they make these, all they do is take a ribbon and tie it around to hold it closed. I, however, don't do that. So I'm going to take my tear and tape and I'm just going to go right along here. And I'm going to go right along here. And you want to make sure it's not over the edge. And then the other thing I like to do with my tear and tape is I like to just rub it, burnish it down with my bone folder, because then the adhesive really sticks to your project and it makes it a lot easier to lift off this tape, the backing. Okay, so now I'm going to put that down. And again, we're going to just burnish. Cute, right? And now I have that scrap of designer series paper that we talked about. And is all I want to do is add some of the scrap to. I was trying to see if it would fit. It will fit this way and I can use a lot less paper. So is what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some Stamp and Seal right here at the bottom, along the sides, and a little bit at the top, okay? All right, so when this comes down, I can actually add this just like that, right? And then back here, I can use my template so that I get the perfect fit on my designer series paper, and I don't have to worry about cutting the same angle for the pot. All right, I'm liking it. So when this folds down, now you see I've got this cute little planter, right? So I can add a little bit of Stamp and Seal, and I can just glue that down. Oops, you know what? I got ahead of myself again. Don't glue it down yet. I'm going to put a little bow on here like this. And again, I know I say it all the time, but if you don't tie bows, you can always just tie a knot here too. Gonna tie my little bow. So isn't our flower pot? Okay. All right. Isn't our little flower pot just adorable? But so there's our ribbon, and I put that underneath the flap and then secured the flap down. All right. So let's get started here. All we're going to do is put these together. Right. Thought I was out of seal there for a minute, but I guess it just kind of really stuck and ripped my paper a little bit. So there's that. And is what's going to happen is that's going to be where we can put our sentiment, and that's going to slide down into our flower pot. Okay, like that. And put our sunflower on. So is what I want to do is just kind of eyeball where I'm going to put the flower. So let's put some Stampin' Seal up here. And I'm just going to put this right down on so it hangs over the pot. And then these are going to get put on to our sunflower here. So I put the adhesive on the front and then just tuck them in like so. I want to get this up here because it will end up on my card. I just know it. There we go. All right. So how cute is that, right? And we pull this out and we can have our sentiment on there. I really like it. I hope you do too. And then I've got this little sentiment that we can either put right through the flower or down here. I don't know where I want it. I kind of like it up here on the flower. Yeah, I like it on the flower. I'm going to wait because I'm not sure. Okay, so here's our flower pot, right? Remember, I told you I had a surprise for you. Oh, I buried it under all of my stuff over here. Let's see what we've got. Mm-hmm. Adorable ladybug punch. And you've seen me use the ladybug punch. So I have a black. I cut one out of the striped paper. And I have to be honest, I saw this done by Miss Kelly Atchison. So what I'm going to do is take my dark Daffodil Delight. I'm just going to color the white. And now you can see our ladybug is morphing into Bumblebee. How cute is that? Now, this is a double layer of vellum. You can see I just folded it. And then when I punched it, I made sure that it did not touch this line right here because I wanted them to stay together. Okay? So is what I'm going to do is just use a little glue dot. And I'm going to put that right on here. And then I can actually lift up lift up the wings, kind of give them a little, maybe my bone folder would work better for that. But just give them a little bit of a curl. And let's put those back there. Oh, yep. Our bumblebee needs to go up there on the sunflower, not the sentiment. So I'm just going to add some, for whatever reason, I grabbed minis. You can have whichever one you prefer here. Minis are the standard dimensionals. And we can add our adorable little butterfly. And our sunflower. So cute is that, right? And then this just pulls out and pushes back in. And this will fit in an A2 envelope. You just have to be mindful when you're gluing your flower onto that insert, just how far you're putting it, popping it up. So there's today's project, this adorable little flower pot. I hope you love it. I hope you'll place an order with me, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.